Now, Deuce, we always talk about like scoring defense or how many points you scoring a game, red zone offense, red zone defense. The Saints have scored just 4 touchdowns and 12 trips inside the opponent's 20-yard line. Look at the red zone, and that's last in the NFL right now. And then I look at this, dealing with the offensive line, like you mentioned, we allowed 15 sacks. That's the 6th most in the league. But we also have been whistled for a league-high 12 holding penalties. So we dead last in holding penalties, and we dead last in red zone offense scoring. Well, it's amazing we 2-2.
Well, and here's the other thing: all those holding penalties aren't on the offensive line.
Right.
So
receivers.
Normally when that's the case, you can say, well, yeah, it's all offensive line. That's not the case, and so. I think the only one that doesn't have a holding penalty is going to be the quarterback, because outside of that, I think everybody else has at least one, or you're talking about multiple. And, Bobby, here's the other thing about that. When you talk about the touchdown and just getting inside the red zone, you haven't even had explosive touchdowns where you catch the ball outside the red zone, and just to be able to get yak yardage. And so to say it's frustrating, that would be an understatement. They've got to play better. I know the gripe is OC. That's a part of it. I mean, but at the end of the day, when do the players have to take some responsibility as well? I mean, at some point, it's got to be on the players as well. And so, man, I'm hoping they can get it together, and I'm hoping that it's a snowball effect when you talk about getting it together, where it's just like, Bobby, you remember we only had 4 touchdowns. You got 4 this game alone, and so that's what you hope to start. That you hope that starts to happen, because they need some good things to happen to them. They need some good things to happen for them. I know they're putting in the work. I mean, and if you have to put in a little extra time, you have to do it. But you got to get some confidence going as well.
Now, Deuce, but the one thing I wish we had more interceptions. We damn for sure getting passes defended. I'm looking at this is the NFL. This is all the defensive backs or anybody. D lineman, you got to pass defended, linebacker, whoever it might be. But Marshawn Lattimore, the last meeting against the Patriots, hopefully he'd have this kind of game. He had 10 tackles. He had an interception the last meeting versus New England. Right now, he ranks 3rd in the NFL with 6 passes defended in 2023. But guess who's tied for first? Alante Taylor and Isaac Yiadom. They rank with 7 passes defended. We got 3 out of the top 4 DBs in the whole National Football League that are knocking passes down. Now, I hope we get interceptions, but I thought that was interesting. Out of all the defensive backs on all the teams, the Saints, out of the top 4, we have 3 of them.
Yeah, that's fantastic on the back end, and I agree with you. You started really hot with some of the interceptions, and I know that Isaac had one the other game, but I mean, if you can continue to pick off a pass or 2 each game, I mean, at some point, like I said, you're just giving your offense a shorter field most of the time, but at some point, that's got to turn into points. I mean, because you can't expect the defense to continue to go out there and produce at those levels, and so it's phenomenal that they're getting their hands on the football. I would love for some of those passes defended to continue to pop up in the air, and we pick them off, or they just pick them off clean without having to even pop up in the air.
Now, dude, speaking of execution, I think this is what Michael Thomas, we're glad, knock on wood, that he's healthy and coming about. And if you look at it, 50-plus receiving yards in 10 of his past 11 contests. Now he's looking for 7 games in a row on the road with 5-plus catches. If you look, his only career game now, I'm going back to 17, so that's basically half a dozen years. But he had 5 receptions, 89 yards, only career game versus the Patriots. I definitely would take that. I'm looking at Alvin Kamara. He had 118 scrimmage yards and a touchdown catch in the last meeting versus New England. So I'm looking the way we need to utilize Kamara, as pass receiving running back, rushing the football. I just think we need his production. I'm not saying 150, but I think that's fair. If I say 120 to 130, that he's contributing that way. With Michael Thomas having 5 or 6 catches, like 50, 60 yards, and, Chris Olave and all that, they have to get it done. But I think what you're expecting from household names, he was NFL Offensive Player of the Year, Michael Thomas, and then Alvin Kamara. Is that a fair assessment as far as going forward, how you expect them to produce in a game? I'm not saying they can't do more, but that's what we need from them at least.
Stars have to be stars.
Yep.
I mean, your stars have to be stars. You've got to put them in position to be able to go out there and be a star. You've got to give them the football, whether that's via the pass, whether that's via the run. But, I mean, they are the star for a reason. And so they've got to be stars. They've got to make plays for it. You've got to put them in position to make a play, but they've got to make plays for it.